Do you want to get into instructional design but are feeling a little bit overwhelmed and not sure what your first step should be? Well, keep on watching and I'll break down my 5 steps to help make that first step into instructional design a little bit easier. Hi friend, I'm Vanessa, and on this channel I help aspiring instructional designers and e-learning developers just like you get off of the sidelines and get into the L&D game. And that's exactly what we're doing today. So a couple of weeks ago, I posted an Instagram post, and it was for Freelance Friday. So on Freelance Friday, I like to post things that are just helpful tips, whether it's where to get really great free stock photos or how to break into instructional design. And I just sat down and I thought, like, if I was starting in instructional design today, what would I do? How would I start? And I broke that down into a quick Instagram post. So we are going to today talk a little bit more in depth about exactly those 5 steps. So the first thing that I said I would do was I would take an intro course on LinkedIn Learning on instructional design. Instructional design means so many different things to so many different people. Like, some people think it's that you're a teacher, which we all know that is not the same as an instructional design. And I like to be able to make sure that I'm speaking the same language and I'm just understanding like the base terminology. So taking a course on Coursera or LinkedIn Learning or something like that helps to make sure that you're starting off just understanding the different terminology that you're going to hear and just help wrap your mind around exactly what instructional design is. Does that mean that is the only learning I would do in instructional design? No, absolutely not. I know a lot of people ask me whether or not, they should get an instructional design certificate, should they get a master's? And I break all of that down in the do you need a master's to get into instructional design video. So I am going to link that video for you so you can take a look at that after you finish this video. But yeah, I break down that whether or not you need a master's in that. Personally, for me, I don't have a master's. I don't have a degree in instructional design. My bachelor's is in political science and communication. It's supposed to be in law school. My master's is in corporate and organizational communication, actually specializing in HR management. So as you can see, not exactly instructional design related. I did take some instructional design courses when I was getting my master's, but it was not my sole focus. And yet I have been doing instructional design for actually now 12 years. So as you can see, you do not need a certificate or a master's. Go get that experience. But to just start you off, make sure you're taking a course, just a video course or some, LinkedIn Learning video course so that you can understand the terminology and to help you get started in understanding, what books it is that you might need to brush up on, what theories you might want to dive in more into. Just start there. I'm the type of person that loves to make things chunkable and easy. I want to be able to break things down and have like one thing under my belt that I can accomplish to give me the confidence to keep going. So if I can complete, a course on LinkedIn Learning on instructional design, that will give me the confidence to continue on that journey and to continue on, furthering my knowledge. That does not mean that's the end all be all. That just means it's your very first step. So the second thing I would do would be to find my tribe, right? And I definitely recommend finding people on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on the different social platforms, other instructional designers, and start following them. Learn from them. So many instructional designers, like, this is what I love about the community is, and I think it's like why you're in instructional design in the first place, is that you love sharing knowledge, right? You love helping others. And so many instructional designers, post on their LinkedIn or post on their social media about, what is it that their challenges are. What is it that they're learning? What books are they reading? What articles are they reading? What virtual events are they joining, right? What associations are they part of? Take a moment and listen. Listen to what they're saying and, see who it is that you jive with, right? Who shares your, common interests and thoughts about instructional design. And listen to those that, share different thoughts on instructional design and different thoughts of how to approach, different projects and things like that, or how they would approach instructional design. You don't want to make sure that you don't want to surround yourself by people that all think like you. You definitely want to make sure you add people who think differently so you can continue to grow and learn more. But there are amazing instructional designers that are always sharing, things that they've learned working with clients. They ask questions, they share job posts and volunteer opportunities and internships. A lot of really great opportunities that you can take into the future. So, for example, some people that I follow is Nicole Papiano, or she's known as your instructional designer and, fellow Jersey girl. I follow Nyla Spooner, or Nyla LXD, and she's the co-founder of Design by Humanity. I follow Tamika Harris, who's also known as HelloTamika.isd. And these are just a few women that I follow, a few instructional designers that I think are just amazing at what they do. And they have all different perspectives and all different experiences that I'm constantly learning from, right? Just because I've been doing this for 12 years does not mean I am anywhere close to being, at the top of my game or, I know everything. I am constantly seeing what other people are saying. I'm constantly looking at the articles that they're sharing and saving them for myself so that I can go back and continue to learn more. And I just think that once you start, following a few instructional designers, it then opens you up to others and you really can build this wonderful community around you that you can truly learn from and ask for advice. And a lot of times, a lot of these instructional designers are more than happy to share their experiences with you. So if you're looking for someone to, be your first connection in the field, make sure that you connect with me on LinkedIn. I will leave that down below. So the third thing that, I would do if I were starting in instructional design today is I would learn about each facet of instructional design. And that again goes back to different, courses that I'd be taking, different books I'd be reading. Like instructional design is not just e-learning development. And that is really hard for people sometimes. I feel like they so often equate instructional design with e-learning development and that's it. But there are so many pieces to it, right? So there is facilitation. There is, writing training documentation. There is needs analysis. There is creating instructor-led content, right? There is the e-learning development aspect of it. And let's say that you do want to be part of the e-learning development process. Does that mean that you have to be the e-learning designer and the developer? No. There are plenty of people that I know that only write storyboards, right? They do not want to dive into learning the tool. They know they're not truly adept, nor do they really have the time to really spend to learn the tool in depth. They would rather write the storyboard or the design document and pass it over to someone who is actually really great at, Articulate Storyline or Adobe Captivate. And that is fine. You can definitely find positions that you're able to do that. And I think as you're starting to learn and think about, how is it that I'm going to learn about all of these different facets besides reading articles, blogs, books about it, interview those instructional designers that you are friending on LinkedIn. Ask them, more to tell you more about their favorite aspects of instructional design, what truly gets them, the most excited on a project, and what gets them, the most excited about, instructional design in general, what types of projects, right? And what don't they like, right? It's not just about what they like. Find out why it is that they don't like certain, areas of instructional design. There are certain areas that I don't really love, and I don't love doing all the pieces of a project. I know a ton of people that hate project management. They hate managing e-learning projects. Me, I love it. I love managing e-learning projects. I love managing clients, even though sometimes they annoy me. A lot of times. I love that. I love meeting with SMEs. People hate working with SMEs. Hate it. I get that they're annoying, but I don't know. I just love meeting new people and I love having conversations with them. I love learning about new areas and new industries that I would never be part of otherwise. So that part doesn't bother me. But if managing someone and kind of mothering them sometimes, like reminding them to, submit their review and things like that doesn't sound like fun for you, well then that's not going to be an area of instructional design that you're going to want to be part of. And that's not going to be an area of instructional design that you're going to want to, you're not going to want to, apply for roles that is a huge chunk of the role, right? There's a lot of instructional design jobs that you have to be a little bit of everything. And that might be a position that you need to take in the beginning as you're building up your expertise. But if your entire role is going to be project management and you hate project management, then it's probably not the instructional design position for you. And I am not a believer in taking a position just because that's the only thing out there at the moment if you're going to be miserable. I think that your happiness and your mental health is a lot more important than finding a job where you're just going to be miserable and you're not going to be doing what's truly going to make you happy. I think if you can wait it out a little bit longer, or, maybe go work like in a restaurant or something like that while you wait for that next instructional design gig, personally, if it's going to save your mental health and your sanity later on, I would do that. Anyway, off my soapbox. Sorry about that, guys. So another thing you can do besides interviewing people in the industry is that you could actually look for small projects and freelance opportunities where you're only taking on a little piece of the project. And that's why I really think that it's a great idea for new instructional designers to work with agencies, because typically when you work in an agency, they put together these really nice big e-learning teams to work on different projects. So you'll have instructional designers that work on, the content and the storyboard aspect of it. And then you'll have people that are developing, and then you're probably going to have a graphic designer, and you'll probably have some sort of animator. And that's a really nice way to see the different aspects of the field, but maybe you're just responsible for like the one little piece. And so you can kind of test the waters to see whether or not the other areas are something that is something that you would like. And so if you could find these different, like little different projects to take on, that really helps. Also look for different, organizations that you could possibly volunteer with to, learn more about these different aspects, right? So if there is a local organization that is looking for help with, training their, volunteers, maybe you can go in and offer to do it pro bono in exchange for using some of that material for your portfolio and for using that experience in interviews and things and case studies and things like that. Then I would do that. I would definitely consider doing those types of projects so that you can get that experience and test out the waters in a, kind of low stakes kind of way. And so going along with number 3 is number 4, which once I learned all about all the different facets of instructional design, I would pick a few different facets that you want to be part of, right? Like, so for example, for me, I'm not a gamification queen. I will introduce aspects of it, but am I going to do a full-blown game? That ain't me. So now I know the types of work, the type of projects that I'm going to take on, the types of things I'm going to offer to my clients. Now, if I do, a needs analysis or a blueprint session with a client, and as part of that, we determine that a full simulated, game would be the best thing for them, and they have the budget to do it right, then I'm going to say, that is wonderful. I think that is a great solution. I'm going to now refer you to so-and-so who can do that part of the project for you, or I will bring in, an expert in that area to then lead them through that part of the project. Doesn't mean I'm not going to offer it as a solution. Just means that I may not do that part of the project. So I want you to become aware of the facets of instructional design that you do actually like. So I know what different, pieces of projects that I would like to take on, or what things in the job descriptions I'm looking for to make sure I'm not doing a ton of whatever it is that I don't like, so that I'm actually happy in my job. I think the moral of, steps 3 and 4 is just to make sure that you are looking for opportunities that are in the areas that you want to be in, so you're not wasting your energy in different areas that you're not going to be happy in. And that also then leads me to the last one, number 5, and that is developing your samples. So the other reason that I want you to pick out a couple of areas that you would like to be in is because you want to make sure that you're tailoring your samples to that. And if you're building a website, you want to make sure that those keywords are somewhere on your website. So if someone goes to your website and says, well, does Vanessa do facilitation or does she not? And if I don't, then I don't want to have anything about that on my website. But if I do want to make sure that that is somewhere listed as a service, or I have a sample related to that in my portfolio. So, for example, let's say you want to be, you want to be in instructional design, but you don't want to do the e-learning development. You don't want to do the authoring tool part of it. So maybe I would put a storyboard up, that I created, a sample one, or I would put up a facilitator's guide and a participant guide. Or if I do want to be, someone that facilitates, perhaps I also record myself facilitating, maybe a quick 10-minute segment of something that I facilitated in the past, or something of interest to a potential client or to a potential employer, and I post that video on the website. The really nice thing about doing that is that the people can, potential employers and potential clients can get to know more about you, more about your style of facilitation. And I will say, and I, just saying, because, I do video, we're here. People really get a sense of who you are as a person through video. It's a lot easier to feel like you get to know someone through video. That's why I chose getting on YouTube. Is it easy? No. Getting up and recording is hard. I am currently doing this at 10:49 on a Sunday night after a very full weekend. And so showing up on video can be difficult and you can sometimes, look at yourself. Well, I do hate watching myself, but it may seem, maybe difficult to rewatch yourself to do the editing portion of it. Again, why I love LoveTravelFilm for doing that part for me for these videos. But it's a really great way for others to get to know who you are. So take the, hour, come up with a piece of a past facilitation that you've done, come up with a topic that would be of interest to a potential, client or employer, and, write up your leader's guide and facilitate. That's the beauty of video. You can use your phone, you can just, hold it horizontal and go ahead and film, a quick video and post that to your website. That way they can see your style. I think that's a really, really, really cool way to distinguish yourself from others. And in terms of the number of samples, I would go anywhere from 3 to 5, depending on, what it is that you want to be part of, what you can feasibly do at the moment. I think no less than 3 to get you started. I think anywhere between 3 to 5 is more than enough for them to see the type of work that you do, the quality of that work, and to get you to that interview where you can surely wow them. Are you interested in a video on tips for interviews? If you are, just leave a comment down below or give this video a thumbs up, and I can definitely do that for you. So, now that you've gone through my 5 initial steps to start your IT career, are you ready to move on for more? Well, click the link in my bio below to get my 6-step blueprint to break into freelance instructional design. Friends, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.